What is up, everybody? Today, we've got something very easy to do on the STI. Welcome to episode 5 of getting this STI track prepped. All right, so today, let me bring down the brightness here. So today what I wanted to do is something that nobody does on their STI. Doesn't matter what year, doesn't matter how old, doesn't matter how new, people always neglect to do this right here. The power steering fluid flush. You'll find that over time, the power steering on your STI will feel a little rough, or it'll make a little bit of noise when it's cold. And that's usually because you have old fluid, or it's because sometimes you have bad O-rings on your power steering pump reservoir. Today, we're gonna be changing out both of those things. I had to flip over to the backside camera here. So what we've got is we've got plenty of automatic transmission fluid. The STI does not use power steering fluid. It uses this automatic transmission fluid, ATF. Make sure that it's DEXRON 4 and above compatible. I'm just gonna have a little jug so that I can pump fluid out from the reservoir and then, not have a drain on the floor. This is the part number for those O-rings. This is mainly for older Subarus. The newer ones might not have this one, but this is the part number right here. You're gonna need an impact. You're really only gonna need a 10 mil today, and that's it. So let's hop into this power steering fluid flush. Not sure if you guys can tell, but I'm very excited to film this video. Reason why is because the past couple of videos have been very difficult, time consuming to film, taking a lot of time to edit, and this one should be just very straightforward, no frills, and it's a job that I've been neglecting on my STI since I've gotten it, and I finally get to complete it today. I'm gonna start by removing these 10 millimeter bolts here that are holding in the intake. If you have an aftermarket intake, you can just skip this step, no big deal. And then this just pulls right out, very easy. And then on my STI, for some reason, this is actually a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm not sure why. But it should be just a 10 mil on most other STIs. And then there's a bolt right here that is a 10 mil. Or I guess it's a nut. And then this pulls off. And then comes out. And now we have access to our power steering lines. So this is the power steering feed, and then this other one right here is the return. Couple notes here. This comes in 2 parts, so there's this hose, and there's kind of like the actual attachment. Sometimes if you replace the O-ring and you flush your fluid, you'll find that you're still gonna have like noise at low speeds, or like when it's cold. It could be that your hose is too hard, it's too old. This should be supple. As you can see, I'm squishing it, and it's actually very difficult to pull stuff out. So I might end up needing to replace this in the future, but for right now, we're just gonna be doing a simple power steering fluid flush. So I'm not gonna stress about that. I'm gonna bring you guys in a little tighter here so you see what I'm working with. And that should be, whoop, this way. There we go. So I'm just gonna remove this cap here. There we go. So the fluid still looks nice and red. Actually, the fluid looks really good. That's like the same color as this red hose. So it could be that it's just my O-ring, or it's that my hoses are too hard and I need to replace them. I don't have the hoses on hand today, so we're just gonna be doing a flush. And I'm just using a turkey baster to get all the fluid out. There is probably an easier way to do this. I just don't know what it is. And as a matter of fact, probably what I might do is I might unbolt this 10 mil right here and just let the fluid drain out. Because I think this just is held in place with like a little, yeah, I think it's just held in place with a little pop clip. So I might actually just do that, use this to feed it through. I'm going to disconnect my coolant temp sensor here. And that should give me pretty easy access. So let me do that. I'm going to lay down some shop towels here. And that way I can just let gravity kind of feed out the fluid. It honestly doesn't look like I'm leaking anything, so it probably is just my hoses that are kind of old. Which is no big deal. You know, hoses get old. The thing is, I was trying to cheap out on this job because the hoses are like $50. And I know some people are going to say, oh, well, you can just go to the parts store and it's not that expensive. I choose to buy OEM when I can, which is almost every time. And this O-ring actually looks fine, so I'm not too stressed about that. Oh, but why is it so hard to move this thing up? Oh, because there's a clamp in place. Oh, I might not actually be able to do the thing that I want to do. Wow, I really didn't think this through at all. So what I'm looking for right now is actually a way that I can just get all this fluid out without having to like unclamp any of these, because I feel like once I have to unclamp stuff, that's when I'm gonna have some real leaks and I might break a hose. And I don't want to do that today. So Future Miguel here. Turns out I actually couldn't leave anything alone, and I ordered up new power steering hoses from the dealership. They just arrived, so that's what we're going to be installing today, along with the power steering fluid flush and the O-ring. And here are the new power steering hoses. These are the feed and the return. I recommend buying genuine OEM parts when you can. These last a really long time, and although they're not cheap, it's a buy once, cry once situation. Let's throw ourselves on the GoPro and get this installed. So let's go ahead. Oh, and look at this. Sun came out. Things are looking gorgeous. All right, we're gonna have to make a little bit of a mess here. So I'm gonna actually just put these right on my intercooler. What I'm gonna do is actually gonna get some pliers. And I'm actually gonna, I need a drip pan is what I really need. So move this right here. Catch any errand drippings. And am I lined up? About as lined as I'll get. What I really want to do is I want to try and make as little of a mess as possible. Not sure how that's going to work for us. So oh yeah, you can tell that this hose has not been disturbed for a long time. And it actually might be easier to do this. It might be easier to disconnect this guy right here. Disconnect this hose right here. Yeah, what would be easier? So actually what I want to do, I want to be a little bit careful about this and not get ATF everywhere. I'm going to clean this engine bay before I put the STI back on the road, but if I can avoid mess, I will try. So I'm actually going to put some towels down here and try and get myself in as little trouble as possible. All right, so I think that'll work. And then I kind of want to remove this hose. So just undo this. Oh, am I done? Oh, probably need to. Oh, well, that was faster than I wanted. Oh. There we go. Get this guy out of the way. I should probably replace, no, actually I replaced this hose last year, or this power steering line last year, so I actually should be fine. All right, so just put you right here. That way if I get anything on here, it's easier to clean off and doesn't absorb into the belt. Leave me with the squealing belt. All right. And so I think, yeah, what I want to do now, I just want to lift and pull up on this guy. There we go. So you're free from your enclosure. And then I'm gonna remove you from yours. I can't tell. It would be easier to put you over here or over here. Time will tell. So hopefully oh, this just comes off pretty easily. So didn't give me, oh, it's a big fight. This is why we have our little line here. Make sure I tuck this right here. So should actually get a little bit of this, stuff it in. That way minimizes any mess. And then same story here. I'm actually gonna move this hose out of the way just momentarily. Yeah, so that I can get a little bit better access. And actually might move you here. Okay. Damn. Oh. Damn, this thing deep as fuck. God, it just keeps going, bro. What the helly? Alright, so this is where I think I'm gonna try and be a little bit careful. Okay. So I'm just gonna do the same thing I did. Sorry, I had to lock in there for a bit. That was like the longest hose I've ever seen in my whole life. Holy smokes, bro. Alright, and so I'm actually just gonna lock this guy in, move this guy out of the way, and then let's see how we'll fish. Oh yeah, so this guy's actually got to come out kind of like this. Yep. Honestly, I might just have to do this one. Pull this move out. Oh, I'm not ready for this. Oh, yeah, as I was talking about not getting this everywhere. All right, so I'm just gonna have to, I guess, be quick with it. Alright, that's not the result we were hoping for, but better than expected, I guess. I minimized the mess. This is goddamn. Like a gymnastics course to snake this out of the way. so I'm actually just gonna just empty this out. And then I think next up on the docket is to remove this hose. Right, very nice. And then remove the other hose. Yeah, I can tell. He's been out here for a minute. Yeah, just look how brittle that is. Yeah. All right, so that's out. And you know, honestly, let's just, it wouldn't hurt to give this a quick little clean. With a little bit of our favorite. Where are you? A little bit of this. All right, so just gonna wipe this down a little bit. Made quite a mess. Actually, not as big a mess as I thought we would. I'll be honest with you. So I'm actually gonna clean this top side first. So I can't really explain why I think this, but I do think it. I feel like brake clean is the vanilla extract or the MSG of the car world. And I guess what I want to kind of say is, you know, a recipe is never really complete unless you put MSG or salt or some type of seasoning in your recipe like that. And in the same way, no job is ever really complete unless you absolutely douse your car in brake clean. All right. Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just trying to get it a little bit cleaned up, you know? Like, my car is always going to be perpetually dirty, and so will I. But just something nice, you know? Okay. So that's got a little bit of cleaning in it. And what's interesting here is I'm seeing a little bit of glitter in this. Makes me think that my power steering pump is on its way out. Ooh, well, I'm not gonna worry about that today. That'll be another time. If it implodes, it implodes, you know? I'm not about to drop another $1,000 on a power steering pump, if you know what I mean. We're just gonna throw brand new ATF in there. And honestly, it doesn't make that much noise, so. Okay, so what I wanna do now is, so the way that this is oriented, I believe was this way. But now I'm not so sure. So this was just pulled off, so it came off. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like this. Yeah. Oh. This is still pretty pliable, but it's not as pliable as this one. I can tell that, that this one was struggling. So I'm just gonna feed, actually before, oh my gosh, peak floss state, you guys. It's also because I'm covered in ATF and that stuff's slippery. All right, and so I'm probably gonna just do this, pull this mover out right here. Oh yeah. Right here. And I'll make my life a little bit easier by doing this. And then this guy, if I recall the way it worked, so yeah, I'm pretty sure this was like this. So I'm gonna first remove these clamps here, transfer them over. A lot of people say you should get new clamps. I think if they still got a little spring in them, go ahead, reuse them, especially if they're OEM clamps. I found that OEM clamps are typically longer lived than aftermarket, and I think they work better even if they're used. That's just my experience. For example, you see I have the IAG AOS. I've actually replaced all the hoses with worm gear clamps because the IAG hoses just, they suck, dude. All right, nice. And I wonder if, so there's some markings on here, little dots and such. And I wonder if these markings are meant to line up with this right here, the same way that this mark is maybe meant to line up like that. I'll give it a try. We'll see. All right, so I'm gonna hook up this hose. Oh. Oh, the sun's coming out. I know I keep commenting on that, but in Portland it's pretty, oh my gosh, peak floss day, guys. I'm gonna get different hoses, or different hose clamps, because this is annoying me. All right, so that's now on. Just want to rotate it so it's on top. Same thing here. Whoa. Right, nice that it's facing the top. And I think going in is going to be a lot easier than it was coming out, just because I don't have any power steering fluid that I have to worry about. So snake you, I think I go through the bottom too. All right, I think you fit up, yeah, kind of like so. Maybe not. Did this go on the top? How did this go? Does this go over the top like this? I think it does, okay. All right, and I think this is now the right way. I have it correct now. And so, I'm just gonna get these pliers here. Oh, damn. Okay, so this might not be the way. This doesn't seem like it's the method. I think the method is I slip it over this guy this way. Oh yeah, so I feel like this goes like that. Move this guy out of the way. Yeah, I feel like that's right. All right, and then I think now it's time for this ordeal. Damn, this thing was long as fuck, bro. Went all the way back there. But I guess. Oh. This might be the hardest part of the install right here. Dang. I need a little lube on this. I actually definitely think I need a little bit of lube on this. If I can get this back out. Damn. Oh, I might not be able to get it back out. Or I might be able to. It's a possibility. Okay, so actually, I'm thinking I might lube this up with a little bit of ATF. Because it is a little bit dry. Yeah, see, if you can see, there's a lot of glitter in this. I'm thinking it might be a little cooked chat. Oh yeah, that went in way easier. So now, yeah, so just a little bit of lube goes a long way, guys. Come on. You want to get in. Is this where this goes? Because I feel like it should go right by the barb. Not by the end of the hose, but I don't really know. If it leaks, then we'll have our answer. So then this guy goes right here, and I think this just sits like this little holder. Oh yeah, it does. Okay, nice. So this is now nice and sturdy on there. This is nice and sturdy on there. And I'm just gonna real quick put this back on. Handle this with a little brake clean. Wipe it all down. And be careful not to leave the brake clean on stuff, because it does dry out your hoses because it's alcohol based. I'll just connect up my water temp sensor really quickly. I think that's connected. And boom, done. Actually, not done yet. We need to fill our pump up with ATF, which I have right here. I use the Castrol, but I think the parts store works just fine. And that's like the max part, but I think I'm probably just gonna leave it like that. A little above the max is probably fine, because we need to circulate all this stuff through the system. Okay, now we're done. All right, let's start this thing up and bleed it. All right, we are car side, and one thing I just want to do really quickly is I want to preface this with you might feel a little judder in your steering. That's just because there's air in the line, but you know, hopefully it should go away pretty quickly. And then once I get this started, I'm actually going to let it cycle for a little bit, and then I'm going to check for any leaks, and then I'm going to start cycling side to side. All right. So it did suck up some fluid. So now I'm just going to cycle side to side. All right. Feels pretty smooth. alternator because the bearing on that one is sounding a little loud. But overall, the steering is pretty smooth. I'm gonna let it cycle for a little bit, but it should be all good. Actually went very easy, no issues. That is how you replace the O-ring on the top feed for your power steering fluid, and how to flush the power steering fluid in your power steering fluid reservoir on your STI. Thanks everybody. That was very easy. Have a great day. Also, if I missed anything in this video, or if you wanted to see something different in this video, or just wanted to say hi, please comment down below. Yeah, have a great day. Forgot to say that. So, bye.